Hello, welcome to Clarity Design Tutorials. Today we're just going to have a quick look at InDesign and teach you some very basics to do with InDesign to get you started. I'll just start off by pointing out that InDesign is a very good program for producing documents, books, libraries, including SWF interactive PDFs and web pages. So it's not just about generating something for print. Let's go for it and get started. So I'm going to click on document. I'm going to leave this pretty much as it is. The intent is to print it. This is all fairly straightforward. Page number 1, the width. Now when you get down to columns, you can choose the number of columns. I'll put it on 2. You can change the width of the gutter, that is the space in between the columns. So in this case I'll turn that down quite a lot, and we'll leave the margins at the bottom the same. Orientation obviously is in portrait. So I'll click OK, and that will start up a document for us. You can clearly see the gutter in the middle here, and it's giving us some guidelines to get going with. We can add more guidelines, so if I was going to put a title over the top, I might want to put a couple of guidelines in to say that's where my title's going. I'm just clicking on the rulers and dragging those out, just like you would in Illustrator if you were working in Illustrator. You can get rid of guidelines or hide them on the right click, or by using the shortcut keys. Do keep an eye out for shortcut keys and see if you can remember them. It will speed up your workflow in the long run, especially if you start using the program a lot. So adding text, fairly easy. Before we do that, we'll just have a look at tool hints, get you set up with that, so that if it's not at the bottom here on your left, you've got the essentials, it should be. So if you're on the essentials there, then it should be. But if you're on one of the other options, you can get that open just by going down to utilities under the window setting, under the window menu, sorry, and you'll find it at the bottom of that tool hints, and click on that and open it up. Basically this just tells you what the modifier keys do with whichever tool you've got picked up at the time. It might give you an indication as to what that tool does if you don't know what the tool is at all. So it'll help you get started basically. So what we're going to do is we'll just draw a text box, and then following drawing a text box, we'll add a couple of pictures just to show you how that works, and then we'll just leave it at that for now. So drawing a text box, easy enough. Click on the text, draw it out. If you want it to be square, then press Shift and draw it out. And remember to use the guidelines as you've got. Control Z. Just let go of that a little bit early. There, so just shift that out. You should find that it will clip quite nicely to the guidelines for you. So you can see I'm zoomed quite a long way out now. To zoom in, press Control plus or Control minus. It will zoom in wherever you've got it selected at the moment. Just hide that because it's getting in the way. Then you can start typing straight in there. Changing the font and everything is at the top. So just around here we've got Myriad Pro at the moment. You know, you can change the font, the type, everything. You might find that actually you want to play around with some options which aren't there, so I've got a couple of options over here for paragraphing and stuff, but basically if I'm dealing with the text itself, so I can make it all capitals or lowercase. If I'm dealing with the text itself, then I'm in this menu. If I'm dealing with paragraphing and spaces between and kerning or tracking, I might be in this menu. So actually I think tracking is in this menu, spaces in between letters or spaces in between lines. So you can play around with how that's working. Yeah, there's your tracking. So you can play around with that, how that works. Changing the colour of text, dead easy. Just up here you've got the colour of the text, so just double click on that and you can change the colour. Pick a colour you want. Once you've got a colour you like, it is just worth adding it to your custom swatches here. So just go and click new, and it will add it to the bottom there, and that means that if you get another body of text you want to be exactly the same colour, you've got it there straight away, you don't have to muck about. So that's adding text, fairly easy. We can add text to paths as well. Adding text to a path is straightforward, just like in Illustrator. You draw the path, you go back to your text tool, click and hold to get the type on the path tool, hover over until you see the plus sign, click on it, and then you can start typing, and it will type it along the path for you. Fairly straightforward use of a path there to add text and to get that set up. Okay, so the next thing to do is adding pictures, and at this point we need to start talking about frames, because this program InDesign uses frames to hold pictures and objects, and that's quite useful for a number of reasons. Let's just have a look. Here's a frame. I can draw a frame by clicking and dragging out, just like the text box. I can click and drag that out, resize it if I need to. resize it if I need to, and I can also give it a curved corner if I want to. So this yellow button here allows me to curve the corners of that box if I want to give it a bit more of a retro look. And then this blue box here, now if I click on that and drag, I can drag over to this text here. I can actually anchor the image to the text. Let's say for example I'm doing a paper and I know that that photo belongs with that story. This means that that photo is never going to move anywhere without the story moving as well. So it's a parent-child relationship between objects, and it just helps us to keep things organised. So I've got my frame in there, but I've got no image. It's fairly easy. If I just select that frame and then I go to File, Place, so just down here in File, Place, I can place an image. So I'll just pick this background image that I've got here, and I can place that in there, and you can see how nicely that places into the frame. And again, frames are useful because what I can actually do is I can move that image. If I double click, I can resize the image inside the frame until I'm happy with the position. So I'll just move it right the way down there. I'm going to hover over it until I can see the move tool, and then I can actually position it so it's absolutely inside the frame. If I don't like it, if I've changed my mind, I've got some options up here so I can resize either the frame to the object, to the picture, or the picture to the frame. Okay, so I've got options there. I can centralize it as well. So this is a useful tool. The other way of importing images is just to go to File, Place Without a frame, and it will automatically generate a frame once you've drawn the image in. So sorry, I think I just missed that. So I go Place, and then Place, and then yeah, there we go. So I can drag that out, and then I've got my image and frame exactly the same size at the moment, all lined up, ready to go. So that's the other way of doing it, either not having a frame or having a frame set up. Obviously, if you've got a frame set up and you haven't got the picture resource yet, you haven't collected it yet, it just gives you an idea of where that picture will go in the end, and remind you to leave that space free, or should it get passed across to somebody else, it leaves that space free for you. So there's loads of really good reasons for them to behave that way. It's a bit awkward the first time you do it. Just be careful. If you click on it once, you'll move around both the frame and the image. If you double click, then you'll just move around the inside, and if you want to get out of that, just click somewhere else and then re-click, and that's the easiest way to do it. Yeah, and I'm pretty much going to leave it there for now. I'll let you explore. Do go down. If you hover over things, you should find that you get some hints as to what those objects are or what it does. There's a lot of stuff to explore,